I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and it's like we were kind of curious. Like, we were like, how many MAGA are there exactly? Like, how many people in America are actually MAGA? Like, not Republicans, not people who voted for Trump because they wanted lower insurance premiums. We're talking about actual people that are MAGA hardcore people, right? Like, that was like the thing. It's like, we wanted to figure that out. Now, it kind of came down to a couple different things. And, we know that, Trump got 74 million votes in 2020, right? And polls show about 30 to 35% of Republicans, not Americans, only Republicans, are hardcore loyalists, meaning that they believe the 2020 election was stolen, or they support Trump above the GOP, period, or think that he should be, think that that he should have been reinstated even at the time. And that would have been about 21 to 26 million Americans if we assume the GOP had like 70 to 75 million adult supporters. And then you look at the Truth Social accounts, right? I mean, 5 million people have made a Truth Social account. That's Donald Trump's personal social media. So, obviously, if you're a MAGA, you're going to make an account on their site. But only 5 million people did it. 2 million people use it monthly. That's about it. Only about 2 million people, a little over that. But 5 million people signed up, right? But then, there's other things you could look at, like, social media behavior, like people on X that use pro-Trump hashtags and how often those come up, or like, influencers that are in the MAGA orbit, like Charlie Kirk or Candace Owens, and you think about how many people and viewers they have. And then there was some hypothetical questions. Like, there was a poll that at one time asked, even if Trump was convicted of multiple crimes and multiple felonies, should he still be president? Like 15 to 20% of the people said yes. About 10 to 13% say violence may be necessary to save America, right? Obviously, we know who those people are. But you can't really be sure if they're fully MAGA, but we know a lot of them definitely are crazy and think liberals are the enemy and they got to use violence to change the world. But it kind of, puts you around 15 to 20 million people, right? But, I know that there was a poll too in Florida at the University of Florida that asked just Republicans, do you consider yourself MAGA or do you consider yourself Republican? And I think it was like 32% said MAGA or something like that. 8 to 12 million Americans, roughly somewhere in the neighborhood, are true MAGA, is what all this data really concludes. I would say a little higher than that, but I feel like it's roughly somewhere in the neighborhood of 5% of the United States. It's like 15 million people, right? And, granted, they're loud, they're organized, and they're very influential on media and politics because they make up a target demographic that's pretty big. But keep in mind that it's a small group. It's like 5% of the United States. But then it kind of got me thinking, and I'm like, well, if that's how many MAGA there are, who are they made up of? Who is MAGA? Who the hell are these people exactly? And it's like you hear that word like it's a tribe. Like it's some sort of a spiritual identity. Like it's a CrossFit gym with AR-15s and a loyalty card to Cracker Barrel or some shit. But let me break it down for you. You ever see a 78-year-old man in a red hat yelling about socialism? The guy that's collecting Social Security, Medicare, and buying his meds with a veteran discount at Walmart? That's what I would refer to as classic MAGA. He's like the Model T MAGA, old school. He thinks TikTok is a Chinese spy app. But at the same time, he'll repost Facebook memes from a Russian bot page called Patriot Eagle USA, 1776. Some kind of a weird site like that. He's like the kind of guy that wears the Don't Tread on Me shirts, but doesn't understand what exactly it means while he's rooting for the guy that's trying to overthrow the Constitution. And he licks the boots of billionaires. So literally, like Donald Trump, who ran on this idea of I alone can fix it, which is a total fascist way to run for presidency in the first place. But that guy, that Trumper, you're not fighting tyranny. You're simping for it and buying its merch, walking around wearing its hats. You know what I mean? But then there's the MAGA that, they ain't just retired boomers with flag-themed Crocs. There's more than that. Like there's a different subsection of MAGA. You got like the MAGA 2.0, the younger MAGA. You know what I mean? There's a lot of those too, especially if you go to the rallies and you interview people, you can see that there's young MAGA too. You got the tech bros, like those crypto nerds who went from let's decentralize the world to like actually maybe a little fascism would be like more efficient. And they literally believe that. Like they're like, you know what? Let's move democracy aside. The government could be ran better if us tech nerds just took over and, we used all of our AI. Like that crowd. They got the Neuralink tattoos, Elon Musk bobbleheads on their fucking desk. They think ChatGPT's the messiah. Unironically, they say stuff like Trump was a disruptor like Steve Jobs. Those guys. But no, bro. Steve Jobs gave us the iPhone. Trump gave us COVID and Truth Social. It's not even close. Not even close. But you're not the resistance, MAGA. You tech bros. You're like a red pill IT department. It's the truth. I mean, that's what it is. But, then you got the gym bro MAGAs. Those guys? These guys are the best. So they're the guys that they watch like one reel from Mind Pump and suddenly they think like push-ups make you some sort of a philosopher or something. And they think like biceps somehow replace a brain, I guess. But like literally the page is called Mind Pump. That ought to tell you like right away what they're doing, you morons. Like, I mean, obviously they're not just trying to teach you how to work out. They're trying to pump your mind full of nonsense. But these gym MAGA guys, they post shirtless videos and trucker hats like, if you're a man and you vote for the left, unfollow me now. It's like, yeah, Chad, I was going to ask you, your opinion on geopolitical trade policy right after you finished dry scooping creatine and beating your girlfriend for breathing wrong and shit. You know what I mean? Like, and now, I mean, it's, get out of here. Like, what do we care about your politics? Your brain's cooked. You're a meathead. You're in the gym, you're pumping iron, and now they want to turn it politics, and that's what they're doing. They're using the gym videos to rope in these young, impressionable guys that are just trying to lose weight. Next thing you know, they're like become a card-carrying member of MAGA. And the irony, because they call liberals snowflakes while spending hours a day whining about like Starbucks cups and women who have jobs. And if you think liberals are pussy, go tell Dwayne The Rock Johnson he's a pussy. I dare you. Because he's an outwardly vocal liberal who would literally body slam and destroy just about any living human being on the planet. But they have it in their head like if you're a Republican, you're tough. If you're a liberal, you're weak. Right? So, you're supposed to be these gym buff guys, and you think it's manly. But you're on the side of a president who looks like what explodes out of a can of deviled ham when you step on it. How does that make any sense? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't correlate. When you actually look at these things under the hood, like, they don't make any sense. But those are the gym people. And, of course, you got the Nazi types, right? Those are the guys that watch Nick Fuentes. And, they're the hardcore, like, Nazi types that really believe in white superiority and white supremacy and misogyny. And they believe that, all this other kind of nonsense. And they believe that, like, somehow white men are special to some degree. And those exist. But then you have those not racist whites, right, that are like the Tom Brady MAGAs. You know what I'm talking about? You know the ones I'm talking about. They got like the wavy blonde hair, aviator shades, no personality, just a bunch of vibes and vape pens and winning. Everything's about winning. It's like their whole political ideology is winning, like the motivational speaker types, the right-wing motivational speaker. Like if you're a winner, if you're a liberal, then you're a loser. If you're a right-winger, then you're a winner because literally the motivational speakers are using it to try to make people go with the right wing. And I get it, because they're trying to say, well, liberals tend to make people believe that they're victims and this and that. And there's a lot of that. But I mean, on the same token, we're supposed to buy an entire right wing philosophy because we want to be motivated to get off our ass and do something with ourselves. I mean, it's complete and utter nonsense. And, you guys know who I'm talking about. But, I mean, like the idea that Trump is a winner. I mean, I get he won an election, but what else did he win? What's he a winner of? Bankruptcy roulette? Like, is he a winner of like the most unpaid contractors? You know what I mean? From all the buildings he built in New York and ripped everybody off. Is that what he was the winner at? Golf, cheating at golf, that's what he's a winner for. If being shameless made you successful, every middle schooler who ever farted in class would be a billionaire. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like, it's absurd. And the idea, like, and this is what's so funny, is that a long time ago, we used to respect people for what they did. We used to respect, if you were successful, we knew that probably took work. It probably took skills. There was a lot that went into you becoming successful for whatever reason. It could be an athlete. It could be a celebrity actor. It didn't really matter. We knew if you were successful for many years, it was because of you had put in a lot of hard work and you were very skilled at something. You know what I mean? And that has changed. It started changing with like people like, Kim Kardashian, who just became famous for absolutely doing nothing because they got a name or they made a sex tape, like Paris Hilton, things like that. But now there's so many people that are famous for nothing that just got lucky. Like, Asmongold is a prime example. Like, here's a guy that was just a World of Warcraft player and he streamed. He didn't do hard work. He wasn't skilled in anything. He isn't even a very good video game player. He just consistently made videos at a time when it just happened to be the right thing to do, and he wound up in a situation. And speaking of him, he's going to be the perfect segue into the other MAGA people. And the other MAGA people are the gamer incel MAGA types. And I know you know exactly who I'm talking about. I'm talking about these guys that live on Steam forums and YouTube comment sections like raccoons under a porch. Okay? I mean, we're talking the worst trolls in the world. And, they got headsets on, 37 tabs open on their computer. They're listening to Asmongold on one screen, crying about how Assassin's Creed added a non-binary option in the character creation menu. It's like, bro, this ruins the immersion. What immersion? What are you talking about? You're playing a historical murder sim where you fight Zeus with a teleporting sword, and you're over here crying about some... I mean, it's unbelievable to me. I understand that you need it to avert reality. You have to live vicariously through video games because they give you a sense of accomplishment in a world when you haven't accomplished anything. But I mean, what difference does it make to you if they put an option on the damn game for a person who's a non-binary? I mean, or something of that. I mean, who cares? I mean, how does that ruin anything? And I guess they don't understand capitalism, but we'll get into that. I mean, God forbid your assassin uses they, them pronouns. Now the game's too woke. They'll say stuff like gaming is under attack, though. No, it's not. It's not. You just can't handle the fact that a black woman is the protagonist now in a video game. Like somehow that physically wounded you. And you should be asking yourself why. Why can't it be a strong white male again like it used to be? What happened to like strong white men in a video game? I don't know. Maybe because we had 45 years of that already? You ever think of that? I mean, who cares? You know what I'm saying? And the thing is that, what's even funnier is they're always yelling about capitalism being under attack, right? Well, guess what? The reason Ubisoft added that non-binary option, capitalism. They're trying to sell more games, you dipshit. And if you don't like it, don't buy it. That's literally how free markets work. You want to boycott something? Great. Turn off your Xbox and go touch grass. Okay? But, you're mad at capitalism when it includes other people. But you absolutely love it when it's just loot boxes and pre-orders for yourself, right? And this is exactly the problem. You are not the only people who play video games. What if there's black people out there that play video games too, and they want to play a character that they would enjoy and relate to? What's wrong with that? A video game can't do that? Well, yeah, but it's the reason why they're doing it. They're doing it because they just want a virtue signal. No, they're doing it because they know that there's a market of people that want to play a game that they can relate to, that don't want to play a white character. They know that. They've done their market research, and they know that they can put out a game and those people will buy it. Now, is it going to sell as well as Elden Ring or something? Maybe not, but not every game is meant to be that. You don't understand how business works. You're idiots. You can't cry about globalist takeovers while getting your feelings hurt by a gender slider in a video game menu. That's not patriotism. That's just digital insecurity. You're just showing who you really are. Pathetic. You know, you guys act like Ubisoft kicked in, your door or something and forced you to play as a Somali pirate. They're erasing white men from gaming. No, you're just playing on easy mode and mad that someone else got a controller too. That's all it is. But, this MAGA thing, it's like, it's a cult, right? I mean, let's talk about these cult vibes, because we know that all these podcasters, these gym bro podcasters, these tech bro podcasters, these gaming incel podcasters, and all these people, they know that there's a market of young people out there that believe this nonsense, and they're catering to it to get paid, right? It's big business. I mean, have you ever seen a Trump rally? And it's not a political event. It looks like the WWE tailgate sponsored by Bass Pro Shops. Anyone who's ever been to one knows that. These dudes show up in full costumes like it's the Super Bowl of white grievance. They got matching shirts, matching hats, matching delusions. They're all cooked. Everybody across the board. It's unbelievable. But it's not make America great again. It's make attire great again, I guess. Because they're all there in costumes. They all dress like rejected NASCAR mascots, waving the big foam finger. They look like they're at a sporting event. It's unbelievable. They wave flags around like they're at war. You ever see a Biden rally? No? Yeah, that's the point. Biden supporters are busy at work or just not cosplaying Civil War for TikTok. But here's the part of it I really don't get, is that the younger generation right now is so big on thinking that clout chasing is weak. They mock influencers. They bash OnlyFans girls, artists, rappers, anyone who makes money online, right? But Trump, that man is the supreme leader of clout chasing. Literally, he makes Logan Paul look like a monk. Yet every time the cameras leave, he dies inside. He says, "They're not after me. They're after you. I'm just in the way." No, dude. They are after you. You tried to overthrow the government like it was a Fortnite event. Nobody else did it. They're after you. They're not after anybody else. But this is exactly how you brainwash people. This is how you create a cult. Everybody's lying, right? Everybody's lying. Any news media, anybody that tells a story that speaks negatively of you, they're all lying. They're all bashing you. They're all this and that. And the cult believes it. They eat it up. And these right-wing podcasters, they are milking these MAGA boys for cash like you would never believe. Shirt sales, prepper kits, boner pills, Trump NFTs. These dudes made a full-time income out of scamming dudes who think vaccines have Wi-Fi. Like, that's literally a market. It's a market. And these guys are doubling down and they're making money. And, the double standard is insane. Like, right-wing guys will be like, a man could do anything for money, hustle culture, get that bag. And it's true. Like, it doesn't really matter what you do or what you say, no matter how immoral it is. We live in a culture now where everybody's like, who cares? He's getting money. Who cares? He's getting paid. That's the new mentality. They don't care, right? But the thing is that if a woman goes on OnlyFans, she's for the streets. Oh, she's disgusting. She's beneath us. How dare her make money immorally? It's unbelievable. So let me get this straight. Selling a lie on Rumble is entrepreneurship, but selling feet pics on OnlyFans, that's degeneracy? I mean, it's capitalism. It's all capitalism. And nobody hates capitalism more than the fascist right. Yet they want to pretend that it's the liberals that want to turn everything into socialism. And the truth of the matter is that they're fascists and they don't want there to be fair capitalism. They want the white men and the straight white males and the Christians to benefit, and they want everybody to kowtow to their moral beliefs. They want society to run according to how they want to run it. That's not capitalism. That's not capitalism. That's worse than socialism. That's believe it or not, you want to talk about communism. I mean, that's communist China telling everybody how to live their lives. It's not that you hate capitalism. You just hate when women do it, right? Because they did it better than you, I guess. I don't know. But listen, I'm not some soy boy sitting here sipping matcha in Brooklyn. I'm not some hipster. I've never been that guy. I'm just a regular guy with a brain, a spine, I have an internet connection and I can get on here and I can say what I want to say, and that's exactly what I'm doing. And I got to say, if your entire identity is worshiping a con man who wears orange makeup and thinks windmills cause cancer, then you might not be the alpha male you think you are. You're not rebels. You're not patriots. You're just merch models for a failing ideology that truthfully died when the Civil War was won by the North, but you guys are still hanging on to it. So, if any of you, the next time you see one of those guys post, "Let's go Brandon" with 6 American flag emojis, remember this. They're not mad because America is broken. They're mad because America's changing. And change scares the hell out of dudes who peaked in high school. But don't worry, you still got your hat. You still got your rallies. And if you scream loud enough online, maybe Trump will notice you. Just don't be surprised when he sells you a $99 coin, some digital coin that's worth nothing and leaves you holding a bag. Anyway, that's it for this one. If you know someone who needs to hear this, send it to him with a hug and a middle finger from me. Follow, share, all that good stuff. But remember, fascism isn't alpha. It's just cosplay for cowards. Anyway, see you on the next episode of Vile Maxim. Love you guys.